All right, and let's get right into it. What is going on, hustlers and soldiers alike? Right, I believe that is what we would refer to the Phantasma community. So, what is going on, hustlers, soldiers, and I guess mobsters, if aside from the channel. Welcome into all the communities today into this edition, and we're going to dive into it today. I'm joined by the Doctor from Phantasma, and we are going to dive into all things regarding Phantasma, regarding this thing of ours, the upcoming mint, as well as all things Web3 gaming. And we're going to update on a lot on the Phantasma protocol as well. I think there's a lot to catch up on because there's a lot going on behind the scenes I think people will be excited about. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Doc, how are you today?
Yo, I am doing so well, my friend. How are you? It's good to see you. It's been a while since we caught up and got to chop it up. So looking forward to this and, you know, ready to get into it, my man.
Yeah, absolutely. I know well, we've had some great times in the past. We've had some wild stories in the past. We won't dive into those in this edition, but I
Yeah.
think we've definitely had some crazy
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
So
It's solidified the bond, though.
oh yeah, that was a crazy experience for sure. Without further ado, let's just kind of get right into it, guys. If you like the video, be sure to drop it down and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for videos here every single week on the Hustlepedia channel. And if you are on Twitch, be sure to hit the follow button down below, as now they allow people to stream on multiple platforms. So here we are. We're on YouTube and Twitch today. So that is pretty cool as well. And if you want to ask questions in the chat box, guys, throughout, we will take some questions throughout here and there if there are some good questions. And we'll take questions specifically at the end. So, Doc, for people who might not know your background or be familiar, I mean, you're very prominent in all the communities that I'm involved in, for example. So I want you to be able to introduce yourself to anyone who might not know your background in Web3, and then your passion and how you got into games.
Yeah, sure. Well, excuse me. My name is Doc, and I'm a gameaholic. So I've been playing video games for a really long time, since before there were graphics. The first games I played were, on a green monochrome screen, if that dates me a little bit. Just grew up loving loving games, loving to nerd out, and have some good times. Fell into crypto and Web3 a few years back when, we all had a little spare time on our hands during COVID, got to do a deep dive, came in and just, absolutely fell in love with the space. I fully believe the concept of decentralization and ownership and what decentralized currency has to show for the world. Games, I think, are the absolute best way to onboard non-native crypto folks into this space, because just the way everything works out. As far as Phantasma goes, I read the docs for Phantasma when I first learned about them, saw all the amazing features that they have to offer, fell in love with the blockchain, and basically bugged them until I got a job. So now I'm part of the business development team with Phantasma, and we're just here to spread the gospel about the blockchain and really highlight all the amazing features it has, not only for games but for film 3, music 3, and just the foundational play to build Web3 out on for creatives in this space.
Yeah, I love it. The first time that Doc and I linked up as well was with the Phantasma team. The Phantasma team originally was who linked you and I up before you were with Phantasma. So, it's been a really great relationship through and through, both through Phantasma and with Doc. And like I said, through Doc, such honestly, a passionate individual on games, very sharp on gameplay loops, what consumers want, and honestly, like a very sharp mind in the space as far as a builder perspective, and especially in the networking perspective as well. As I said, very prominent in all the communities that I'm involved in. So, did you what has been the role that you're getting integrated with now with Phantasma?
So it's part of the business development team, coming in, listening to new projects that are pitching Phantasma, helping find some really great plays for it, but also just being the kind of social face for the blockchain. I'm going to be out there doing more streams, more AMAs, just with roundtable discussions, chain agnostic roundtable discussions, just about the space in general, and just really helping to create presence for the Phantasma blockchain and extol all its virtues to the universe.
Awesome. And I asked this on an interview, one of the last interviews I did on Crypto Banter, and I think this is a question that I'm going to start posing to a lot of people that I speak with in this space, because I haven't asked you this. If there's one game in the past that you can take a look at right now in the space that most fits the model of a successful Web3 game in Web2 games. So we'll talk some Web3 gaming, and then we'll dive further into Phantasma, and we'll talk more about this thing of ours down the line of the video here. But I really want to talk about your ideology on games. Is there any games in the past that made you kind of trigger those thoughts in your mind of, this would really work better if I owned these assets, or if this economy had these features? And what were those games that really inspired you to become a builder as well? Because I think that as someone who's a builder in the space, and I know you've been collaborating with multiple games in the past, I believe, and have been on multiple teams as far as game development goes. So what are some games in the past that really inspired you to become a builder in the space, as well as triggered some thoughts in your head that maybe NFT gaming could be a solution for this?
Right. So, I mean, first and foremost, I look at mobile gaming and the business models that they use. I mean, they're predatory, and we all know that. Look, we've all been buying it. I mean, we've all talked about this in our discussions, and especially things like Fortnite, anywhere where you buy a skin, any mobile game where you've got to, have a cooldown and buy that bag of jewels for $5.99 so you can go ahead and advance further, any of these kind of things. So, we've been doing asset ownership in games forever. The only problem is it's a one-way revenue street. And, you can go and I've read several research papers. You can go on ResearchGate or start looking at keywords about predatory business models in mobile gaming. And there is a wealth of actual real solid research papers on this subject. And, with any emerging technology or any upcoming technology, the idea is to make it, something better from the existing platform, right? We're always building up, like, what's the problem to solve? And for me, Web3 gaming is solving the problem of eliminating these predatory business models, and especially things with like even owning your IP and being in control of your company. Things like Film 3, just regular films and games and things like that. The cut that the creator gets by the time you get the accounting done is minimal, right? So you can be a great indie developer and get swept up by some studio, and at the end of the day, you're not owning any of your actual product. You've got distribution rights and this, that, the other, and the accounting is very nebulous. So being able to control your own IP, being able to control your content is super important. If far as Web2 game goes, I believe that, I've been in the games I like to play are games with heavy modding, and maybe not even in the sense of like first person shooters and competitive stuff, but I like to play city building games where people are making their own buildings and things like that. And I believe that creating creator economies through marketplaces and allowing people to make their own items, things like that, is one of the ways forward. And it's also one of the ways to create sustainable economies within Web3 gaming, as far as rewards loops and bringing, some of the revenue back to the players, and just changing the dynamics. So I think that there's a solid foundation from Web2 gaming and the existing play loops, the existing revenue structures, but we just need to tweak those a little bit and democratize those so that the people that are in there investing in the games, they're able to get more back out of it. And I think that's super important in the way forward.
Right. And nothing. I think when the approach becomes, it's not extractionary from a player standpoint. It's not able to become extractionary from a player standpoint, but it's healthy on both ends, where it empowers players and just gives them that opportunity to be able to monetize the assets if something happens, if they can't play the game anymore, if they want to recoup, or if something is super valuable. That'd be like going to the Walmart and drawing some holographic Charizard that you can't sell for some weird restriction. Like it would just kind of be weird, right?
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we have things, when we're talking about assets and rarities, especially the current generations. So maybe not as much when I was a kid, but they were still trading cards. It was still find the holographic foil in your baseball card pack, right?
Yeah.
So searching for rarities in gaming, that's it's already there, right? It's just finding the way to do it responsibly that benefits the community and benefits the holders when you're ready. I don't believe that games should force anything down your throat. Like, if you don't want to interact with the blockchain, if you don't want to create wallets, I fully believe in free to play aspects. There should be zero barrier to entry, not only to make it fair and approachable for everyone, but also because that's going to help bring people into this space better. Because the big turnoff, and we all know this, and I've looked at plenty of during the big GameFi heyday, I'm not going to pay $5,000. This is just me personally. I don't have that kind of scratch. Even if the game, no matter how interesting the game looks, it's the barrier to entry must be low enough to allow everybody in. And that works for communities, that works for adoption, and that also, as we are building into getting more heat from regulatory, interests and things like that, those are also very important things, because you have to make it equal and fair as much as possible for people to come in and play.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think that the way that the first generation, I think calling them Gen 1 of blockchain games, Axie Infinity, the model, the two token model, I'll call those the Gen 1s, basically.
Yeah, right.
Those games were just completely flawed in the model, and they didn't go with any of the traditional gaming metrics that are used today. Ad revenue, number one, right? If you're a mobile game, a little simple game, little 5-second ad, no one's going to click off if they're at that point people cared about making money, and B, having a good time. More primarily for a game, you need to be having a good time. No one cares about that little 5 seconds. You take a little sip of water or whatever you got to do, and then you click off the ad. So there was no ad revenue to sustain any sort of revenue model. It was all based off user acquisition, which then it becomes, a pyramid. And then that's never really good as far as a business model. Now, whether you want to call it a Ponzi, a pyramid, whatever you want to define it, it just wasn't the right model. But what games are missing in the Web3 space is they don't have to change the model whatsoever. Free to play, Warzone, Valorant, those biggest games in the world, their entire revenue model is based off of microtransactions, skins.
Exactly.
That is their whole revenue model. Those games are all play. So I don't understand why these games just don't go with that approach, make a quality game, do an infrastructure on their own marketplace, become the DEX. Become the DEX at that point, right? Your marketplace, it's like on Call of Duty, you have the shop, which would be what they are selling. And that's like exclusive stuff that is being sold as like a pack. You can pay fiat or just so to speak, you can pay credit card for these and you pay for a skin. They take it off the shop 2 weeks later. Then it becomes tradable on the marketplace where people are actually facilitating transactions, take a little bit of the cut, just like OpenSea does. I don't see why these games don't just become the infrastructure themselves. And it could cost a little bit more, right? But at the same time, you reap the rewards. You're not shelling out as many fees, as you mentioned, kind of taking out those middlemen between the creators, the developers, and the people who actually get the dollars.
Right. That's exactly right. I mean, one of the best Web 2 use cases where these kind of things are implemented would be something like Counter-Strike Go. And the skins for the guns, it's fully tradable. It's okay to trade, in that market, because people have been trading stuff, from World of Warcraft, Ultima, like back in the early days of MMOs, trading beefy armor sets against terms of service, risking that. Look at all the terminology that we already use in crypto with mining and farming and things like that. I mean, gaming is intertwined with cryptocurrency at the core, right? And I think that in addition to that, it's easier for games to also onboard, because I'm terrible at financial math, right? I can't go and make DeFi Legos, and it's beyond. I understand it, but it's beyond my ability to compute. Now, I can tell you like how many hit points I'm going to gain when I get this beefy axe in a game and be able to like stat this out. Like, I know that, right?
Yeah.
So it's ingrained. So like it's a great way. It's a great way for education. I also firmly believe that when we're making these games, that education is an important step. Look,
Absolutely.
you go on Coinbase, you earn $5. You take a 5-question quiz, you earn $5 of, whatever token that's going on. There's no sense that educate to earn can't be ingrained part of these games. So when you're ready to take that step over into the blockchain and get into the deeper meta, you may just be comfortable with buying your skin or buying your weapon with fiat and be cool. But I think we should also give people the opportunity to say, oh wait, there's a deeper level to this, so
Right.
I can sell this, I can upgrade this, and do some different stuff. And well, let's go ahead and make that wallet and let's learn a little more about this. So I think proper education is just as important as proper economics in the game and everything else that goes along with it. It's got to be fair and ethical.
Yeah, for sure. And I agreed with this comment a lot. Mr. Barry _ETH. You should just be able to benefit if you're a good player and you can grind for assets. Simply put, that's like the basis of it, right? If you buy it, yeah, like let's just say you buy a battle pass. It starts at level 1. You still have to level it up. Like there is a grind aspect to all of that side of the economy, like a battle pass or anything like that. Leveling up, that's attachment unlocks in Call of Duty, unlocks and things that you are able to upgrade along the way of like an MMO, for example. So I mean, that's just baked in part of the game. Why not just give the capabilities to the players who put in the most time in the game?
Right.
And most people are never able to monetize their experience whatsoever in these games. So all this does is give them, once again, this word is the biggest thing to me. It's just the opportunity. Whatever you prioritize.
Yeah, I got in a long argument on a Twitter thread once on a Kotaku post because they are pretty notorious for trashing NFTs in games. So I got in this big argument with people, and they're like, "Why do you need it? Why do you need it?" And I used the thing like, "What about modders?" They put in, they're like, well, modders will be happy to have their work in a game for free. I was like, that's maybe true, but wouldn't it be nice to give them the opportunity to make a little money off of their hard work as well? What if it's only $5? Who cares, right? Pay the man. It's worth it. Democratize the DLC system, democratize the content creation, and really be able to own a piece of the thing that you put so much time and energy into.
Yep.
It's a no-brainer, and it doesn't have to be complicated at all.
Yep.
At all. And I think that's where a lot of the P2E games currently, have missed the mark, in GameFi V1 is we made it entirely too complicated by trying to wrap a game around a DeFi protocol or some DeFi mechanics. And that's cool. Hey, look, it was a learning curve. Unfortunately, it was a learning curve that a lot of people wound up getting the short end of the stick from in certain areas. And that is very unfortunate. But as an industry, it's a lesson that we have to learn. As a narrative, it's up to people, like yourself and the guys that you're out here on the streams with and the AMAs every night as thought leaders. We have to combine forces and push this narrative and tell these, creators, brand, the Web3, then there's the utility for the builders. And if we don't work together to say like, hey, this is okay, this is not where we want to go. It's vitally important. I don't care what blockchain you're on. If you want to come and talk to me about building games, and what makes it right and what makes it wrong and how we can move this forward, my DMs are open, right? Let's chat.
I love it. Yeah, and I've always loved that about you as well. Always collaborative, always looking to put ideas together and come out with the solution on the other side. So I know our ideologies.
It's the only way we're going to push the space forward.
Yeah.
It's not a competition. It's not a competition, and especially gaming is like a niche. We've got the Web3, we've got all these little niches. In an overall huge, $1 trillion cryptocurrency market and things like that. We're the small fish still, and we're getting bigger, right? There's still plenty of money getting pumped in here, right? As we see, even during this downturn, we still see. I just saw another $500 million. Fund started by the Polygon co-founder just before we got on the stream for Web3 startups. So the money's still coming in. It's just, what are we going to choose to do with it is the question.
Yeah, the other day I went down a deep rabbit hole, and that rabbit hole was all about me finding how much money is coming into Web3 gaming versus Web2 gaming. And I found the statistics, the public reports about the first half of 2022. And over 50% of every dollar that has been financed into the GameFi space, or into the gaming space, the gaming
Mm,
industry, is in
right.
GameFi,
Right.
Web3, blockchain games. Like over one out of every $2, more than one out of every $2 invested in gaming this year by venture capitalists is in blockchain games. That
It's
shows you
bananas.
where the money's coming in.
Hmm.
Give it a couple years and imagine the products we're going to have at our fingertips to be able to play. And that's when I actually think these major studios will be looking this way, right? When I talk to
Right.
people from Polygon, like you mentioned, from like Immutable X, those platforms that talk to the biggest wigs, I mean, in the Web2 space, they're
Hmm.
talking to the biggest devs of Riot Games, Epic Games, and feeling out that sentiment. They say the
Yeah.
best developers in the world are leaving and going to Web3 because
Right.
it's the most empowering platform that's ever come to gaming. And I always say this: NFTs are the biggest utility piece so far in game in the like gaming is the biggest utility piece for NFTs. That is like so far that is the
Yeah.
best
Absolutely.
proven model as a utility, a digital
Mm.
owned asset item inside of a game economy that is yours, and it dictates that it's yours. So
Yeah.
like I think that that's the most straightforward utility right now for
Yeah.
NFTs in a world where people always talk about utility. Gaming's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely correct on NFTs, and that is why Phantasma has developed amazing smart NFTs. Which, in my personal opinion, regardless of where I sit, the background behind me, I think are the absolute cream of the crop. The vision in what they've done with the smart NFTs is absolutely amazing. And I'd be happy to talk a little more about that if you'd like to roll into that. But uh, one other topic I did want to touch on before we really get into whatever, and it's an article that I shared with you. And I want to talk. Can we talk about regulation for a minute, and
Yeah.
the need also for people in this space? Like, look, the it's gonna apply here. The pressure's gonna get. I'm referring to a Cointelegraph article that came out yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, where people are trying to pick apart this space too, and we have to be, as builders in this space, very careful about the models that we use, and we have to keep up with compliance and really think out what we're doing. There is going to be a time where the folks in Web3 and GameFi, we're going to probably have to organize a little bit and represent our interest to the fullest. So yeah, there we go. Big fines and hard time. So the gist of this article is, running illegal raffles or illegal gambling through the use of NFTs, which is really just trying to cherry pick the whatever they
The
can.
industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? It's like cutting off your nose to spite your face. Why stifle innovation in an industry where gaming industry is very, very much, a lot of the big studios obviously clearly are in the United States. And so much talent, like you just said, is going over to this. We as the builders of this space, we have to, make sure that what we're doing is sound and safe and secure and as we go forward. What
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
it's
What were we
it's
gonna
it's
say?
it's pretty nuts. That's all I'm saying. But it shows that we're making an impact, one way or the other. So
Yeah.
we are making noise, but we're not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And that's
Yeah.
the real point of everything is you're not going to stop the democratization of
Right.
this industry at all.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I've talked to Ryan Wyatt from Polygon. He says he believes that NFT and Web3 gaming will become 10 to 20% of the market size of normal games. That's very realistic. Very
That's
realistic.
that's realistic and sensible to think that. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
If we became a 20%, 15% subsector of the normal gaming market, then this market will be it will be massive. That would be dominating one individual sector of the entire gaming market. So I
Right.
think that that's undoubted that could take over. Let's talk a little bit about Phantasma.
Let's do
Obviously,
it.
obviously, I think there's a lot going on behind closed doors, and everyone always uses the cliche, we're in a build market, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but I think that, a lot rings true with some projects around the space. And I think Phantasma is definitely one of those, that there's a lot of moving parts behind closed doors and some things that y'all are working on, games that are coming on the platform. So I'll kind of just let you kind of start. What are some of the things that you're most excited about coming to, and maybe some changes coming to Phantasma, some of the games coming on? What are the things you're most excited about Phantasma at the moment?
Well, I mean, there's a lot to unpack, and I've got copious notes to the side of me because there's so many great features. Like I said, I got sold on Phantasma the day that I read the documents. I was working, advising a game that's in development, and we're shopping around for a place to go. I found the Phantasma documents, and honestly, my jaw hit the floor. When you're talking about coming in and being a developer of a game, and you're looking for the not only probably the quickest and easiest way, but the most advanced way to be able to adapt your game onto the blockchain, hands down, no holds bars, it is Phantasma. The features that are baked into this code, and not only that, this was started in 2018 or 19, right? And the vision of the founder of Phantasma, it was so amazing to think of these things to put in here. So we have built-in oracles, built-in name service. We have built-in libraries to start decentralized organizations. The smart NFTs, which I'll probably loop back to here in a second. We've got we've got wallets. We have native in wallet bridging between ETH, BSC, and Neo. Cosmic swaps, the whole nine yards. Like everything that you would love, and it would be almost as a game developer. If I was a game developer coming in to this space and it was like, man, I've got to learn all these libraries of code that are between here, there, everywhere. But then I found Phantasma, and I'd be like, oh man, it's just a SDK and a nice API can plug right into my Unity stack that I'm building on. Oh wait, the compiler is in C# or all these gaming scripting languages that are already familiar to me. Oh, this is perfect, right? But the real crown jewel of Phantasma clearly are the smart NFTs. So what are these? Smart NFTs are revolutionary, and not only for games. So the idea here is that the ROM is on chain and is immutable, but the RAM is upgradable. You can write to it real time. So if I had a weapon in a game that degraded over time, or that I needed to go and repair at the shop after I went and beast mode on some monsters in a dungeon, right? So these things can happen real time, and these effects can change and be relative to the game real time. We have a game on the platform called 22 Racing Series. So if you imagine your car is an NFT, and all your transmission, your wheels, your suspension, all these things are also NFTs as well. They can be nested infinitely into the car. So now we can trade out car parts, but it can all be on chain. Where a lot of games that are coming in, a lot of this stuff, even though they're blockchain games, a lot of this stuff happens off chain. This is off chain data that just goes through the database. It gets pinged. But here, we've got calls, that'll directly interact with your game and with the smart NFTs to make this a broader experience right here. Yeah, you've got 22 Racing Series, which has a partnership with DS Automobiles, which is an electric automobile company out of, I believe, France. 22 Racing Series and Goatee, the developers, they've also got a deal with AMD, so they've developed some really great technology with AMD that allows for super fast, smooth frame rates in their gameplay. I think the cars there, they go, I don't know the actual quote, but I'll just say 11 billion miles an hour. I mean, these things move fast. Like if you're playing on these tracks, like you better be a good driver, right? Because the thing moves fast. But that's part of that technology deal that they've got with them. So many great games. We've got the Nemots, with formerly Wildcard, which is a great card battler. But getting back to smart NFTs, the flexibility that this gives you in a game as a game developer. So, you can do some of these things on other chains. Like, yeah, I can upgrade an NFT, but I've got to burn it and remint. So it's a more complicated process. These are just band-aids. Where here we can just go, do it real time, high transactions per second on the chain, up to 5,000 transactions per second, infinite parachain possibility. There's like right here, there's no blockchain so sophisticated and fast that cater to game development like Phantasma. And that is absolutely 100% true. It is built for speed. It's a lean, mean gaming machine of a blockchain, and the creative flexibility that smart NFTs give you is the winning factor in here. And not only for games. Let's say you are a Music 3 project, and maybe you are associated or leaning towards, like hip hop or dance music or something of that nature. So you have your smart NFTs, and if you're familiar with music production at all or remixes, you have stems, which are individual parts of your track that you're making. So you host a remix contest where all of your stems are individual NFTs that can nest inside of the main track in the end. What if you are putting out an NFT art collection? Now your traits can be individual NFTs. So now I'm not only looking for rarity, I'm also looking for rare traits on the marketplace. It can add a whole new layer of meta to NFT collections, and you can now build your perfect NFT. So smart NFTs, and I'm just scratching the surface. These are just like some ideas. I don't even believe that any developer is fully, really. There's so many options for what you can do, and this is why I love this chain so much. I mean, to be quite frank with you, it is the future of NFTs. Period.
Yeah. And one thing I can say with the hands-on experience is it's a full-blown toolkit for gamers. Seeing the way that the game devs that are experienced with Phantasma flock to it, and the way that it speaks volumes when you see it in person too. I've been around the team in person. I've seen the way that game devs really gravitate towards the all-around toolkit and integration of Web3 into these games that Phantasma provides. So I absolutely agree on that front. And
that's right, and there's more tools on the way. So right now, we're doing a lot of great upgrades. We're auditing the chain. We've got new wallets coming out. We're upgrading all the documentation to make the developer journey easier. We have some new tools that are being built to make the developer journey simpler, so you can slide in and get things done faster. And so that's also a major component to getting people on this chain, and is just making the access and the knowledge base as readily available as possible.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I see here that, the next evolution upgrade announcement. Is there anything, like I said, like around the corner? Obviously there's some stuff made public here in the article, but anything around the corner that the soldiers in the chat can look forward to?
Well, I mean, one of the biggest things, and it's being heavily tested right now, the MVP is looking good. It's still subject to being audited, but there is one feature that that you might notice that is not there right now, and that's a DEX. So we are going to be putting out a fully workable DEX on chain, and I believe that's going to open up Phantasma for more foundational plays as well. I think we can get some good DeFi plays, because look, at the end of the day, the transactions on Phantasma are like 0.0001 cent per transaction. Right. The gas fees are so minimal. A lot of games, like as a soul master, so let's say we're building a game and I want to become a soul master and stake some tokens. I can earn the gas tokens kcal, and you can earn enough as a developer to actually cover the transaction fees for your gamers, so they never have to worry about that. Right. So when we're talking about having tools and more like web like hooks to actually integrate with the chain and having more of actions being actually blockchain verifiable to be able to cover those transactions. Now, as a developer, I can still make sure that my users don't have to worry about that at all through that. And of course, it's fully diluted token, over 50% of it staked. So if you're looking at those metrics, I mean, that's also, really amazing. Of course, I'm not going to go into price in theory too much, as part of the team. But I mean, I think that it's really astounding that over half of the tokens are staked on this chain.
Yeah, that just shows the faith in the community and the conviction in the community more than even faith. I think is the stronger word when it comes to investment purposes, right? They see what's being brought to the chain, they see what's being delivered, and I think it speaks for itself, and it speaks volumes. I'm thoroughly impressed with everything that I've ever seen from the platform. And I think that, whenever this toolkit gets in front of more games over time, and whenever these games do launch and people see that capability of the Phantasma chain, I think that will be massive, massive for the platform. I think once more games get out there and it's more public that they're using it, right? I feel like there's some other chains that are just so in like the spotlight but I know, you know, behind the scenes, what y'all are building is very, very special.
We've got so much. We've got Legends of Lairds, which I want to talk about specifically because this is a female development team. So this is like, you know, in a typically male dominated industry, crypto and gaming, we've got this great female led team developing a really cool RPG. I mean, I know that there's games that I'm missing, but everything in the One Up line, or I'm sorry, like One Up is also a Mario style 2D battler is also, you know, planned to launch on Phantasma. But what I meant to say was everything in the Phantasma lineup. These are games built for gamers. That's most important. And this, you know, and this is the narrative. It's fun games that are built to play like games. And Phantasma, through its, you know, tools and through its technology, is the best way to build those type of games on the blockchain.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. This is one I've really been looking forward to. Actually, is that DS Automobiles? I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah, well, this is an actual real electric car company that is partnered with 22 Racing Series. So you can actually, I believe, you can actually get those games into the game as well. So I mean, these are real world partnerships that are happening, and I know 22 Goaty rather they're also partnered with a cloud computing company. So there's just a lot of really great stuff going on behind the scenes. I mean, I would love to probably drop a little more alpha, but I think there are also some great tech partnerships that are on the way. Of course, you know, the NDAs are, you know, super tight, that kind of thing. But, you know, and as far as, you know, we're also looking for, you know, anyone who, when I went to GDC, the thing I was most surprised about, and I think that probably you were too, was the huge presence of Web3 and blockchain.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, did you expect that at all? And they were the most
Not from a
engaged out of
Web2
everything.
conference. Nope.
I saw
Nope.
so many middleware solutions that were so primed and interested in learning. I mean, saying, well, we're ready. We want to plug in. So, you know, when we're talking about technology in the gaming industry, despite what you might read, the people who are building the tech in this industry, they're ready for blockchain. They're ready for Web3. And I think that's an important takeaway.
Yeah, those indie devs that just get suffocated by the big studios and, like you said, don't get their cut of the pie like they probably deserve for the time and the effort and the quality that they put into it. Yeah, I mean, it just, this industry just opens that avenue for those devs to get into this space, bring their games to the blockchain, and have that total cliche term, but ownership over their game, over their protocol, over the success of the game, etc. And giving the keys to the kingdom in the game, true governance to the people who matter the most, the players.
Absolutely. I had one pushback at the at GDC, and that was, you know, the standard planet killing JPEGs argument. But, you know, it was really nice to be able to say, oh, by the way, did you know that Phantasma is a carbon negative blockchain? So it already requiring so little power to run, you know, Phantasma is partnered with the company that actually sequesters CO2 from the atmosphere, and they produce carbon offset credits. You know, they also plant trees and do things on the other side of that as well. So by purchasing those credits, Phantasma is an actual carbon negative blockchain. So once you remove that argument, it's like, what do you got for me now, man? You know, let's go. Let's talk now. Let's get into the meat of things. So let's really talk about gaming and blockchain. So that's also one amazing component about Phantasma, and why I think it's such a great place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we want to wrap it up quickly, and we can talk a little bit about the upcoming mints, the collection, this thing of ours. We are about 38 minutes in, and this is the thing. I could go for hours on some of these, you know, just back and forth. Like, I know we could just keep talking and talking about the solutions.
I know we could, but let's dig into your thing. So we've got this. I'm gonna take the the host role. So we've got this thing of ours because I want to make sure that our Phantasma soldiers that they understand what's going on. And we've got this thing of ours. We got Don Johnny over here. You know, the Don of the of the gaming mafia. But you've put together this great project. There's so many great. I'm in the community myself. There's so many great people there. Explain to us what you're doing. You know, give us a little sneak peek into the utility and what being part of this thing of ours means.
Yeah. So I'll start off just by describing this thing of ours, right? People usually ask, like, why did we go, like, what's the name inspired by, right? So I feel like at this very moment, first and foremost, mafia movies, mafia lore, I'm Italian family. That's like my favorite, like, wormhole to go down, like, in history, is the mafia. I think that's the coolest like organized crime, whatever, like lore syndicate, whatever you want to call it in the world, like that history. So I love that lore. And then on top of that, I feel like crypto gaming truly is ours right now. We all sound like nutcases to the common people. They call us that we're scammers because we're in the NFT industry, and right. NFTs are scams to gamers. So I feel like, it is truly ours right now. And it is kind of like an exclusive back room. The people who are in crypto gaming are really, in crypto gaming, exclusive right. family type of vibes. So what we're aiming to do is be the gaming hub, the NFT gaming asset-backed treasury that will bring all together gamers, investors, and builders alike in this community. You'll be able to, collab and network with the likes of our top partners, such as My Pet Hooligan, Collider, Craftworks. I mean, we could go on with Steady Stack. We have WagMe Game Co. There's so many top tier partnerships. We have one coming up that I can't wait to announce as well. AAA game. So that's going to be really exciting. But all these integrations will play into these gaming collections as well. So what this is doing is just lowering the barrier of entry to GameFi for 2,000 people with the collection. So what this does with the treasury is you have a stake in the treasury's success long-term, right? This treasury grows long-term. You have a true shareholder ownership stake over that treasury. So that's really the goal, because it gives you a broad scale of assets in the treasury that you are banking on through simply holding this thing of ours. That is just one single element of the collection, but definitely a unique point of interest with the collection.
Right. So what kind of key pieces of utilities, because I know you've got your mint coming up on the 31st, correct? So we're gearing up for that. What will NFT holders have access to as part of this thing of ours? Like, what kind of juicy little tidbits are you going to provide for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that when you're looking at the current market status, we're in a complete bear market. We're in a complete bear market right now. And I think that when we're looking at the climate, this is the best time to get together a group of crypto gaming driven, super passionate people who really want to be in this space long term. Because, the tourists, the people who in the past, came into the space, they heard metaverse, they tried to get on the pump, they got wrecked, and they left the space. The people here now are here to stay. So what those people are going to get is a complete NFT gaming playbook with the exclusive crypto gaming reports. So 52 crypto gaming reports per year, once every Sunday, once we go live. We already have 6 live in the server pre-mint. And then every single Sunday, once we mint, you'll have a gaming report there at your fingertips. We'll have my portfolio overview. You can see everything that I am involved in my portfolio, including stablecoin allocations. You can see all of my moves in the market, as well as advisor calls with our top partners, kind of like mastermind calls is what this serves as. So there's a lot of key elements regarding information, networking, and then obviously you are a shareholder of the treasury, and any treasury growth down the line, there will be potential claims. You can claim a little bit of something special, a little bit of a gift prize for being a shareholder, right? Don't want to call it a dividend necessarily, but definitely a potential claim later on if there was to be, revenue generated from the treasury. So there's those 3 elements: information, mastermind, and treasury.
That's excellent, sir. And let me just speak for a moment on Johnny. I mean, I know that you're like the guy in the space, everybody knows, but for people who don't know, I fully back what Johnny's doing, because there's not a man in this space that I know that has more integrity and is a harder worker than Johnny Hustle. I mean, the guy's the Don for a reason. So as far as me vouching for what you're doing, man, I couldn't be personally happier than to be part of this thing of ours. And I think that probably people are waiting for us to tell them that, some good news as far as like what we might be able to do together, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I would say it's safe to say there's stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'd say it's safe to say that. I'm pretty sure we could probably say that Phantasma and this thing of ours is going to do a little collaboration. We're going to be part of the family now, right?
Yeah, I think that could be something that, once again, I think that there's a sit down happening,
Yeah,
about this
yeah.
very
We
topic.
got the back room in the cigar bar. Like, hey, forget about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's safe to say, and what better community to partner up with a true gaming community on both ends, and people who are passionate about the
Absolutely.
space. One of the best gaming blockchains in all of Web3 gaming. So yeah, no, I'm super excited about that, and just to be alongside such great alliances such as Phantasma.
That's what it's all about, baby. One vibe, one tribe. If we're going to do this, we got to do it together. And yeah, I think I can probably speak for all the soldiers in the room to say, we're happy to be here, and we we give you our undying allegiance, to the family. So yeah, I love the mob stuff too, man. So this is like it's fun, and it's the truth, man. And hey, look, the family's thick. I mean, the community is great. So I mean, for all the soldiers out there, please, we got the links up to TTOO NFT on Twitter. Please come in and join the Discord. Come and say hi. And I think we're going to be able to over the weekend probably offer some whitelist spots for the mint. I do believe as well to the soldiers. So stick around and stay tuned for that, and we'll get something put up in the near future for that regard. So we'll get you guys in there and part of the La Familia.
Yeah, and some of the cool stuff that's been going on. My Pet Hooligan with this.
Oh,
With
dude, I
this.
love this. This is so cool. What a
Yeah,
cool
we're
thing.
gonna rub you out, Lenny. He's like, Lenny, chill out.
Yeah, it's such great
This
stuff,
was great.
man. And, hey, we
Yeah,
got to have fun. We got to have fun because this is a wild space. So, you got to keep each other lifted up in what we're doing as builders, as creators, as even community. And that's one of the greatest things that I love about being part of Phantasma, and also love about being part of this thing of ours is, I can reach out to anybody, and I know there's a friend there. I know there's some passionate people, and that says it all.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't be happier, forming, like I said, once again, an alliance with with Phantasma, with yourself, with all the guys over there. Super excited about that, and all the capabilities we can bring on both sides in the future to both communities.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. The sky's really the limit with what we're doing right now, and whatever Phantasma can do to be a part of that journey and to make it stronger. Well, we're here for you.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see here, Phantasma the other day teasing something was coming, and that that's something that sit down, that sit down seemingly has occurred. Doc, I appreciate you. I appreciate you joining the stream
Thank you
today.
so much, sir. It's so great to
Where
be able
can
to catch up and chop it up. Yeah.
For sure. Where can people find you? Obviously at Phantasma Chain, and I believe is it phantasma.io?
Phantasma.io.
Phantasma.io.
Yep. And then you can find me at Dr.
Awesome. And then where can
DeFi.
people find you?
Yeah, at Dr. DOKTOR _ DeFi on Twitter. And I'm up in all the chats like every day. I'm up in like every gaming community chat in the world. So if you haven't seen me around by now, I don't know.
My man. Well, once again, I appreciate you hopping on with me. I'm excited
Thank you,
to
brother.
be alongside, joining forces for the future. Yeah, absolutely. And guys, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed the show. Subscribe to the channel for more videos here. I would say once a week. Obviously, I host the show over on Crypto Banter as well, 3 to 4 times a week. We have a big interview coming out tomorrow on the channel over there. I would highly recommend you check it out. One of the best gaming protocols out there. So, guys, be sure to follow Phantasma at Phantasma Chain, phantasma.io. Definitely one of my favorite, I know you can't talk about it, one of my favorite low cap altcoins in gaming in this bear market to have on your watch list and at least be doing your research into. The market cap is already fully diluted, no VC unlocks. Very beautiful thing in this space when that's very rare. So do research, but absolutely love Phantasma. Doc, once again, thanks for joining me. We're gonna get out of here.
I want to get all my soldiers over there in Johnny's Discord. Let's see. Let's do it. I want a soldier raid at TTOO. Let's go, everybody.
There we go.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, seriously. And what we'll do, guys, refresh in 60 seconds. I'll put the Discord link down below. And yeah, if you want to join the Discord, discord.com/this thing of ours. That'll work. All right. We're out of here, guys.
Baby. Forget about it.
Forget about it. You're going to end up swimming with the fishes. All right. We're out of here.
All right. Later, my man.